Where's the Lord? Bro, 1 year, 2 years, 20, 50 years. If the Lord comes, man. Not if, when the Lord comes, the Lord comes, man. Because it ain't no thing, it's not a matter of is he gonna come, it's when is he gonna come.
That's right.
That's another thing as well, that shows you also, because the elites can make all these plans, right, because they're in control. It's the Most High is in control.
That's right.
He don't set in the time frames. Okay, so you thought you might have been ready by this point in time already, man, but guess what, you're not, because it's not time yet. When the Most High ready to bring, you know, because the elect are out here, man.
He done that before with Babylon.
Yeah.
He did that as well with one of the kings. He extended his life by 14 years. Hezekiah, yeah. Extended his life by 14 years. So like, the Lord can, it tells you in Ecclesiastes 3, to everything is a season, to every time is a season, and however it follows on. And it says a time for this and a time for that, basically. So the Lord's doing everything on his timing, man. And really, when you think about it, some of us here, if this would have come to pass in the year 2000, guess what would happen? We wouldn't have been out here, man. I was like 12 years old in the year 2000, man. So, and some brothers might not even be like, may have been like 2-3 years old, man. Or younger than that, or just born, you know?
The Lord's out here for his elect, right? And the elect have to be sealed before the judgment comes. Okay, so it's all the Most High's time frame when these things happen. It ain't about the elites. It might seem like they're the ones doing it or pushing this motion, but it's not. It's the Most High driving all these things. Okay, so when it's time, when the Most High decides it's time, that's when it will be. You know? Yeah, Connor.
Zephaniah 1 and 14, the great day of the Lord is near, and hasteneth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. So, you know, that great day of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is very near, man. Like the brother said, it's not a matter of, you know, when it's going to come. It's not what you say, it's not a matter of if it's going to come, it's a matter of when it's going to come, man. So the Lord ain't going to come upon your time, he's going to come in his own time, man. And just because he don't come according to your time, they don't mean that all the prophecies are null and void.
Okay, I'll just open. Isaiah 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them all to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Alright, so yeah, what that basically is going into is the fact that the nation of Israel is the Heavenly Father's only chosen people. Because still in 2019, contrary to popular belief, the Bible is one people's book, and that's the nation of Israel. The Bible is a book of law, statutes and commandments for a way, basically instructing the way for one particular people to live, being the nation of Israel. So what the scripture is saying is that when the Lord returns in these last days, which are very near to you, all of the other nations that have troubled Israel, primarily Esau, Edom, but all of the other nations around, whether that be the nations of Ishmael, Moab, Ammon, because they all have their corresponding judgments written in the scriptures, they're all going to come down and serve us, man, as servants and handmaids. Going on, it says, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, which is essential. What does the scripture say? One of the things that pleases the Lord is a man that liveth to see the vengeance upon his enemies. Life is about, like, at the end of the day, all of these nations upon the face of the planet Earth have troubled Israel. So it's a righteous thing that the Heavenly Father is now going to give us power to subdue our enemies. Because does not the scripture say in Deuteronomy 7 and 6 that we were created to be above all people? So that's rulership. The Lord actually gave us rulership. It's not like, what the Most High deals with is election, man. He's got a chosen select people that he's dealing with, being the nation of Israel.
Right. Precept law. This is Revelation, chapter 13. And this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
The patience and faith of the saints, which shows it's a righteous thing. Basically meaning that revenge is a rightful thing. Because this whole society is going misconstrued between what is right and wrong. Because people judge right and wrong based on emotions and how it feels. People feel like if I put another human being in subjection, then I'm wrong. I'm wrong for doing so. But the nations were actually made for the purpose of serving Israel. That's the harsh reality of it. Another harsh reality is the fact that not everybody's going to be saved, even amongst Israel. Now you might have people that you're going to have people that emotionally feel this type of way about it. It tells you that when Yahweh comes back, there's going to be people weeping and crying and moaning. It tells you there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So that evidently sinners of our people are going to be sorry when the Lord comes and He starts destroying them. But by then it's too late. There's harsh realities in the scriptures which people aren't accustomed to within the society. Go on,
Right, what precept? Yes, it's the saints. This is Psalms chapter 148, verse 14. He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. A people near unto him, praise ye Yahweh Bash and Yahweh Shai.
The scriptures describe Israel as the apple of the Lord's eye, meaning that we're like, you know what that's at in the second Ezra where it talks about one I was chosen to one river, one out of the because the Lord at the end of the day has favorites, man. Favoritism is within the scripture. Even within the 12, Yahweh Shai had favorites. And at the end of the day, you would have had, like, you can carnally feel a type of way as a man, but it's according to the Lord's election. What does it say in Romans, the 9th chapter? So the things say, to him that formed the wise thou made me. That's, everyone's created for an individual purpose. You got the elect of Israel, you got the 144,000, the 1/3, and then you got the 2/3 of our people, man. Ultimately speaking, Israel was the only nation created to rule, man. Why we're in subjection now is because of the fact that we've gone up in sin. That's all throughout the scriptures. Deuteronomy.
Yeah, I just know. Go. I just got time to back you up.
Deuteronomy, you got what Amos, the 3rd chapter. You know, numerous examples.
Yeah, I got this for you. Isaiah 29 and 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord Yahweh, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us?
Right, and that's the wicked of this society. Esau, Edom, the so-called illuminated ones.
Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as a potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not. He made me not, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding.
And it's spiritual because Apostle Tahar put up a video basically saying, fuck your feelings recently. And that's the thing, because these Edomites feel like you got Edomites in the Christian church that are reading the Bible day in and day out alongside Jake. 2/3 bugged out Jakes. Those Israelites are going to be saved, but ultimately speaking, those Edomites can read the Bible to their blue in the face. It's not for them. The Heavenly Father's allotted a specific people, man, to get this understanding. And this whole book, the 613 laws, is for the nation of Israel. Now you've got it to where the illuminated ones of this society, your Rothschilds, Rockefellers, etc., filtered down all the way down to the rulers of this place, the clowns like the Donald Trumps and the Boris Johnsons that you see, feel like they're going to be able to continue the society in an eternal preparation. But the Lord's got their time cut, man, and you can see that it's fallen in the spirit. This Brexit thing, for example, like at work, where I work, is multicultural. You got people in my line of work, which is supposed to give you a secure line of work, that don't know what they're going to be doing. People that are EU nationals, and they're wondering if they're going to be able to stay here past 2020 because really and truly, there's no consistency, man. Like Esau likes to push himself as the master of understanding, but really and truly, even within the business field, no one really knows what they're doing. No one has an idea of what this Brexit is going to coincide, man, because this man basically, his whole establishment is set up of wickedness. Democracy, for example, is wickedness. Democracy is nowhere to be found in this. The Most High chose the king.
And that's the way. Democracy is basically, like you said, they're winging it basically. Because you're saying you're going to just get the people that have no right to choose anything. They choose it based on bias and like feelings and emotion basically, not logic. And they're not really, these people of this generation ain't fine-tuned to really be rulers over themselves. That's why, for example, now we have the Brexit. All right. Why is the Brexit happening? Because the ill judgment. It's really ultimately. I'm gonna underline it as prophecy according to the word. But you know, in the carnal sense, let's deal with it on that level. David Cameron decided to say, "Yo, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to say whether we stay in the EU or go out." Now the people say they want to vote out, but guess what? They don't know what comes with voting out, being outside of the EU. They don't. So if they don't know what's going to happen once you step out of the EU, why are you giving them the opportunity, or even the amount of what's it called?
Like power, basically.
Power based, the ability to choose whether to be in it or not. Go ahead, bro.
Even on the point, another thing which is slightly off deviating, but the social media, for example, social media like is a poison, man, especially to Jake, because it gives idiots power to just voice anything.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, man, what you gotta understand is that Esau's giving our people like basically all the tools they need to just perpetuate wickedness. And then the more we're wicked, the further away we stray from Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, which is the agenda of the wicked. That's why whether if you go on like a World Star Hip Hop or Swift TV or Instagram, any sort of social media, for the most part, you're not gonna see nothing but folly, just twerking and fucking and Jake just doing stupid shit like stick up, all kind of manner of wickedness, because it's just set there as a destruction.
Folly is setting great dignity.
Yeah, man. Like the
I was just gonna say dignity and folly. Those words don't mix, man. To dignify folly is ridiculous, man. Dignity should be esteemed in the word, man, in the holy scriptures, right? The Bible.
But in our society that we live in 2019 London, fuck culture and fuck culture is the most popular thing. That's just every Israelite man aspires to be the biggest fuck on the block. And then every other Israelite woman is pretty much spotting it out. But that's the scriptures, that's in the verse, which shows you that without a shadow of a doubt, we are the people of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Because if you go to West Africa, you go to Mexico, you go to South America, it's the same story, man. Just harlots and drug dealers. That's what the majority of our people are into.
Jeremiah chapter 4 verse 22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge.
Because our people are wise and wicked. A lot of our people, like a lot of the wicked of our people compete with Esau and their wickedness. Like for example, like none of us up here grew in a family where by the time we was 21 our parents were buying us our first car and we were all, but you'll see these drug dealing niggas, they're driving fresher cars than Edomites working corporate jobs because they've mastered it. Like to where like honestly it's the truth, man. Like real shit. Like for the fact that like some of these local, even in the UK, some of these local hood stars in like your Hackneys or Tottenhams are making millions because of the fact that they're into all of those low-key undercover witchcraft rituals. They're doing shit. That I've got to bring it up again, but that Beans guy wasn't just a coincidence. He wasn't just you know, dabbling in that shit because it was just, well obviously he's a faggot, but it's because there's deals that Esau even gives behind that. Sexual magic is a big thing in society.
You had that guy Jay Hoos, was it? Jay Huss, he basically he straight came out and said, yeah man, I do witchcraft, man. He straight came, he wasn't denying it.
Jay who?
Yeah.
What's that woman? What's that female hip hop star? She had a video where she had a place where she sacrifices the chickens. What did they call it?
Oh, I'm thinking Azalea Banks. Azalea Banks.
Yeah, and that's like what that comes from. I think the Dominican Republic, isn't it?
Santeria, which goes back to Yoruba. Like you know their demonology and all that shit.
It's like really that really goes back to Ham as well.
That's it. Yeah.
That's really Hamitic.
Yeah.
Like them,
Well, you got Levi,
but then the tribes perfected it, man.
That's it.
Yeah, because you got Levi and Simeon on the same island, isn't it? Yeah. Levi doing, voodoo.
Yeah, pretty much every tribe has their own version of black magic.
Yeah, thingy, Judah has
on power, that
voodoo.
Yeah,
like he from like Bruja on power, like he kept calling it Bruja.
like for example, like
She worked for the
but even like, for example, Jake and the Wall have this thing called black power. That's witchcraft. The Most High is not with black power because the Lord is not coming back to save black people because black is not a nation. Black really and truly is void of color, man. And that's because Esau, if you notice, will give that shit free reign. That's why we got this Black History Month thing. Like for example, in where I work, in the company I work in, they're putting hella investment into this Black History Month thing, and Jake are feeling like, yeah, you know, we're finally getting acknowledged.
Look, you got Black History Month, but then they don't teach you about Rosewood, for example. Rosewood in Florida, man, that was a massacre of Jakes, of a flourishing town in the 1900s.
Yeah.
But then what happened was that a white woman complained. Watch the movie, man. It shows you that John Singleton made a movie. Edomite woman complained she was having adulterous sex with another so-called white man, and she said Jake raped her. No, he beat her up, and she said Jake raped her. So then they got the clan together, the different Edomites from the different parts of Florida, and destroyed Rosewood, lynched the Jakes.
buried them in the ground.
Yeah.
You know, really that was like hatred against Jake, weren't because so-called white women got raped. It was deeper than that. They just hate Jake, and we're in slavery. They have to. We're showing you your place, boy. That's really what that was. Get the clan together. Oh, there's a rebellion of blacks. No, and it was just children. It was children and a few men.
Yeah.
And they destroyed the whole town and lynched them and put them in the fucking buried them.
Yeah.
Because of the hatred of Esau to Jacob.
Yeah.
There's so many examples.
Yeah.
There's so many examples.
Yeah.
So they're telling you about Black History Month, but they don't teach you that.
Yeah.
They're showing some new niggas that rap on Link Up TV for Black History Month. Are you joking?
Can I give you an example?
Some fucking weirdo rapper like for Black History Month. Are you taking the mick?
Hey, you had the Duluth lynchings, right? And that was done in Duluth in Minnesota. They didn't even have it in the book, so they had no record of it, man. People had to come out because they were ashamed of it. These Edomites are ashamed.
Yep. You also had Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it's funny because the scriptures say their tongue shall fall upon themselves. Like one of the guys I worked with, he had watched that new TV program Watchmen, and the first couple of minutes is going into the Tulsa race riots, right? And then he was like, shit, I never even knew that ever happened.
And you know, there was many accounts of those things, you know. Tulsa, Oklahoma, up in New York, that happened. Texas, that was happening because Jake's after slavery, like, that's the 1900s, this is 1900s. Rosewood, they had flourishing towns, man. Doctors, you know, banks set up. Esau, out of the hatred, destroyed all that.
Because it's not our time to get that established in this time. That's why the scripture says in Psalms, man, that except the Lord built the house, then they labor in vain that built it. Because all that work that Jake put into that, they're still not recognized by it, and they're still working for an Edomite corporations, slaving for an Edomite bill, man.
Let's get a scripture.
Ezekiel 35:5. So go as I did perpetual hatred, and
that's what Jake don't know, man. Jake don't know the history. You don't know who you are. The scripture says thou had a perpetual hatred. Who's that talking about, man? What's that talking about, man? Go on, man.
So go as the perpetual hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel.
That's going into Esau, man. Esau, which is a so-called white man, he's had a perpetual means never ending. So till this day, Esau hates Jake, you so-called blacks and Hispanics, man, the tribes. So it says, thou had a never-ending hatred against you. Go on, and he said he shed the blood. So you mentioned Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, I mean, come on, Natchez, Mississippi, the Devil's Punch Bowl. This is all post-slavery, 1800s, 1900s, so-called post-slavery, man. All right, but then the Esau will tell you, oh, blacks are lazy, they can't get nowhere. No, because anything that Jake's so worn down, they're just giving up.
They also had, remember we had that Netflix documentary 2 years ago? 13th Amendment, systematic what? Systematic oppression. So when you go up the ladder, you ain't gonna be able to go up the ladder. It's just impossible. You're trying to think about what's the most valuable asset? Housing. That's the most valuable asset. Well, how much appreciation have those white neighborhoods had in comparison to the ones Jake live in? So even if you do go through the system, you're still gonna be in the same ghetto. If you become a multi-million-dollar mogul or a rap star or whatever, you buy up into their neighborhood, they're moving out.
There goes the neighborhood.
There goes the neighborhood.
So they say. So they say, man. Hey, that Puff Daddy video, we ain't going nowhere. When he came in, he even put the sign there. It said, there goes the neighborhood. That's what they said in the video. Because they know, man, when Jake goes in there, we're getting the fuck. Why do you think all them crackers moved out of London? Out of the M25?
But that's why it says.
Oh no, fuck the word cracker, all them E's moved Edomites.
But that's why in Genesis 25 it says what it says. And even what Genesis the first chapter, 16 on down, the Lord said that he would put enmity between the woman's seed and the seed of the serpent, man, which is why really and truly Esau and Edom, Esau and Israel are the main players, man, the procrastinists and the antagonists, and the protagonists and antagonists in the Lord's movie.
Let's go over that, go on that.
Because though as the perpetual hatred has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword.
And he shed it by the force of the sword. Because even in that flick, that Rosewood, if you watch that and you don't know the Esau, the white man's the devil, man, I don't know what the hell to say to you, man, as a Jake. You watch that and that don't rouse you up, man. That's hell, man. That's nothing compared to what happened, man.
I remember.
Yeah, go on.
It's like I was gonna say. I remember that. What was it? 2017, 2016. Them years, 2015 up to like 2017, there was a run of slave movies coming out. Maybe even before that, because Django came out.
Django.
From Django, there was a run. Nat Turner, you know, these different movies.
12 years.
Yeah, 12 years a slave. And you had like a lot of Jake coming out saying like they were upset. One, they were saying they didn't want to see more slave movies. But the other thing they were saying was like, man, like man were like, yo, I went to watch a movie. I couldn't talk to no white people.
They were pissed.
I was just like, listen, don't fucking talk to me.
Do you remember the movie The Butler?
Yeah.
With Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah.
Remember he worked in the White House? That wasn't even that deep into slavery. And we watched it and the crackers left the cinema.
That was more about
They walked out.
That was more about the Black Panther movie.
Yeah, it was civil rights.
His son was all up into the Black Panther, wasn't he?
Yes.
And at the end of the movie, he was like, you know what? I've been washing dishes for too long. And he stood with his son finally. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. But in the cinema, we watched it in Romford, the Edomites.
They were like, fuck this shit.
Like, and that's The Butler, bro. That ain't even...
That's PC. Because Esau's done all that.
Yeah, but look, the scripts... I'm sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, but because Esau's done all of that wickedness, that's why he has to put out some brother and circuses to just keep Jake in that lackadaisical state of just just happy fun. Do you know what I mean? Go to the party every other weekend and there's something on TV for you to watch, or there's some love in hip hop. Because at the end of the day, if Jake was actually, because the people the 2/3 of our people that love this man, they love him in ignorance because they're just not aware of the wickedness that this man has done.
But bro, even in that flick, it says that's like a perpetual hatred, a never-ending hatred. If you watch Rosewood, it goes deeper than, oh, there was blacks there, we're gonna kill them. Oh no, he raped a white woman, which it goes, there was crackers going, oh, there's a man over, a Jake, he plays the piano. He was hating, he's like, I don't have a piano, a cracker. That's hatred. Like, crackers will hate you for playing an instrument. They just hate you niggas, man. Why do you know, but you know what, 2/3 don't see that.
I got a precept to back.
Go on. He said,
You know why they don't see it though? And this is something
they ain't seen it because the most
they're not seeing it because there's two types on this earth. There's two types of Jakes, right? You got Jake that's got the spirit of the Heavenly Father, and Jake that don't. The heaviest form of enmity that you're gonna get between Jake and Esau is gonna be between who? The elite, the one with the spirit on him. The one with the spirit on him. The elite of that nation. You're gonna find out about them Jakes that you have out there. The first fruits. Them Jakes that you have out there in the workplace. That cool Esau, a bunch of fucking coons.
They're low life.
They're low life. They have no moral integrity. They have no spiritual integrity. And whatever set out before them, they're gonna conform to it. That's why you have the term what? House Negro.
Yeah. So I'm out in the field with corns on my fucking feet. The base of my soul's turned into leather. All right. Man's back's got whips on it, and they got that chain on me with a bell, man. But anyway,
you know what was a good example of that? I don't know you brothers. I know you've been rewatching Spartacus. Remember third season they had this guy, the body servant of like that Syrian body servant right at the end. So he was a slave, right? And he hated Spartacus because Spartacus took away what? His position underneath the slave master. That's how Jake sees it. When we're out here teaching this truth, even going back
Egypt, same thing. You about to say that?
Hey, when Yahushua was on the scene, they said basically the scholars and the Pharisees said we need to get rid of this Yahushua guy because he's going to take opposition away.
And he says what? The Romans, right?
Yeah. Let me get this precept. Okay, this is Jeremiah 2:33, and this ties into a lot of the statements that have been made, going back to the black magic and all that. Why trimmest thou thy ways to seek love? Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked ones thy ways. Right. Now what ways did they teach the wicked ones? Basically what Jake had done, whatever Esau showed them, they've taken it to another level, to a new place it's never been taken before. So you see, that's why even like black culture, for example, really it's going to Judah and America. It's an amalgamation of all the shit they had post-slavery, they made into their culture. And now, for example,
call each other niggas.
That's what I was about to say. So, for example, who gave Jake the word nigger? The slave master, all right? This is a soft play on this point, just to show you, all right? The slave master, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the devil the Bible speaks of, was the one that gave Judah, the so-called Negroes, the word nigger. All right, but then guess what they did with black culture today? They've taken that word and stylized it to the point where now you got white boys in the suburbs and white girls in the suburbs wanting to call each other niggers. All right, because that's Jake, you know, teaching the wicked ones their way. They'll tell Jake, okay, if you want to increase your power, get into that sex magic. Then now Jake are like, listen, this is our shit. We're the real Egyptians. And now they're taking it onto themselves. They're surpassing Esau's, whatever Esau was doing with it, they're taking it to a whole new realm, man.
More wicked.
They're more wicked. So that's why Jake is just on a whole different level when it comes to wickedness, man. All right? And that's why I said again, why trimmest thou ways love? All right? Because they're trimming, they're like, man, I don't want to be righteous, I want to be wicked, man. And that even goes back to Maccabees. When you had when they said, since we've gone away from
And Jeremiah, they said this in Jeremiah.
said the same, yeah?
Jeremiah.
And it's like, when we've gone away from dealing with the heathen, you know, we ain't prospering no more. So they're looking at the way of the Lord and saying, we ain't getting nowhere with this. Let's do wickedness, basically. And guess what happened? They did the wickedness, and then they end up subjugating themselves onto the heathen, basically. Hellenizing themselves, all right? Building a gym in the land of Israel, basically, and following the ways of the heathen. Go ahead.
And even on that point, like that's the mystery of the Gentiles, because that then goes into why when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, there was a split when that Gentiles Paul was sent onto, where the descendants of people that the elder brother was describing, people that had generations of just wearing togas, eating pork, shaving their beards off, dressing like the Grecians. That's why there was such an uproar when basically Yahweh Shai declared that there were people outside of the fold, immediate fold within Jerusalem, that were going to be saved. That's the mystery of the Gentiles, because this is what we're going into. That's why when you read, for example, when you read that famous scripture that the Christians like to quote, that John 3:16, it's talking about the cosmos of Israel, but it relates to the fact that there were Israelites scattered across the globe, man, into the philosophies of these different nations. So we were captured by the Egyptians first, the Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, the Grecians, the Romans, and then at the end of the day, in all of those different captivities, you know, you would have undisputed, like your undisputed fact, you would have had coons that would have stayed there. You would have had certain people that would have been like, fuck going back, I'm staying here, I'm good here. We established family here, you know.
Well, when you had the Babylonian captivity of Jerusalem, you had the two waves, I believe, of Israelites going back to the land of Israel. One under Zerubbabel, which was Ezra, and there was another one before that. I forget which one. But you still had Israelites that stayed there, because when the Medo-Persians took the Babylonians down, who was still there? Sorry.
Yeah, Daniel was he was basically.
Sorry, no, I'm mixing stuff up. I'm going back
I was thinking that.
I mixed it up. But when you had Zerubbabel, that was after Daniel.
Yeah.
Right? That was after Daniel. Because Daniel was the first wave of them going over there, right? Zerubbabel came and he was what? He was amidst the Medo-Persian Empire. I believe he was the cupbearer to was it Cyrus? Yeah. And then there was a decree to let them go back, right? But you know what happened to where all the Israelites went back? Yeah. Because remember, the enslavement of Israel was what? 70 years, right? So how many people that knew Israel when they were after that 70 years?
How many people, sir?
How many people knew about Israel, about the land of Israel after that 70 years, that knew, that seen with their own eyes Israel? Not too many.
Different generations.
Different generation.
And even they said, remember when they went back to the land and they saw the temple being built, you had people that saw the temple before it was destroyed and they wept because it wasn't as good as the previous, the splendor before. So you had the elder generation that was there to bear it. They cried because they were like, man, this ain't as great as it was before. But look, Israel, you know, been fucked up, man. I got a precept though. It's going to the Gentiles you're speaking of. John 7:35, then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles?
And what that's talking about is basically the Jews were looking at Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai basically spoke in parables, number one. So they were questioning among themselves. They were saying, when he says he's going to teach, go to where we won't find him, is he going to go to among the Gentiles and teach the dispersed amongst the Gentiles? Which shows you clearly without a shadow of a doubt that there were Israelites living amongst the heathen, man. Timothy, for example, was the perfect example of that, man. Because his father was a Greek. Now, when it says his father was a Greek, it don't mean his father was an actual Grecian so-called white man. It means the fact that his father basically been accustomed to the ways of the land. The same way, like, in the worldly sense, my nationality will be Ghanaian. If I go back, I've got a UK passport now. If I go back to Ghana, they're looking at me, they're gonna call, like, what, oh bro, like, they got words for that.